Welcome back, my friends, to TFT Hyperroll with Artark, and in today's video I want to go back to a build that pretty much started off this season that has fallen off a little bit simply because they keep nerfing the reach trait of it, but it's still a really strong build, but you don't have to go for the reach trait of it. Before we get into it, graphic, come on. Do stuff. It helps. And this video is also about listening to the game and paying attention with what it's trying to tell you to do. So let's jump to the end of the first NPC round. What is the game trying to tell me? Yeah, it should be clear right about now. It's Void. It's saying, get yeself into the Void. Augment-wise, I'm really hoping for a Tome of Traits or something like that, so I'm going to end up rolling everything, even though Gargantuan Resolve could be great for Rek'Sai if you want to do that build. Nothing. Really nothing. I'll just go with the Buried Treasures too, so I can get some components, as that's probably the most useful thing there. I tend to find Void is a fast start build, mainly because you have an additional player on the board in the little Voidling that is spawned. So it helps do a little bit of damage and also just acts as an additional body for their team to attack. Item-wise, I'm thinking about three different things. Number one, Cho needs to be tanky. Number two, you need Kaisa items. Number three, you need Lux items, because the best build to go into with Void I have found is the Void Sorcerer combination, and that's going to require Lux to be really strong. There are other ways to go, such as Void Challenger, but since Malzahar and Vel'Koz are such an important part of Void, it seems a lot easier to just riff off of that. You can also go a route where you bring in multicasters and get Talia and Teemo and then one of the strategists involved so that you're getting the benefit from Vel'Koz. Just try and pay attention to the game and what it is telling you to do. And again, expect to run strong in the first few stages. 5 and 6 is where it starts getting really dicey, especially in 6, because you don't likely have the 6 Void to create the Rift Herald, but other teams are starting to hit that power spike. So it's very possible you're going to lose a lot in stage 6 unless you have an emblem. Second set of augments, nothing here is really going to help. Unified Resistance is probably what I'm going to go for unless something jumps out, but it doesn't. But at least this is going to give a little more beef to the front line so it stays strong. We did manage to 3-star the Cho, so it's time to make a Dragon's Claw and put that on him. That'll also give us a little extra gold from the portal that we're in. But again, this is the awkward time for this build. You haven't hit a power spike yet. Cho is not likely to carry you. You're gonna need Kaisa and Lux for that, so expect to see some losses in and about this point in the match. So, tons of items. Going to need an item holder. We want the bow to create the Rage Blade. That's gonna go on Callista for now, because again, she can function as an item holder. We brought in Taric as an additional sorcerer, and then also we'll create Bastion along with Kassadin, and we're going to make the Sunfire Cape on Cho. Presuming you have a 3-star Cho, you probably want to stop rolling at this point. There's no point until you get to 7 where you have a better chance of getting the 4 cost that you need, which is Kaisa. She is going to get you to Void 6, which is going to bring out the Rift Herald. So right now, you're going to be losing a lot of the momentum that you gained early in the match. With that said, also pay attention to what's happening. In between rounds, it gave me everything up to 2 stars. Kassadin's now 2 stars, Rek'Sai 2 stars, Vel'Koz 2 stars. It just kept handing me the champions I needed to make this team a little bit stronger, and I'm locked for the 2-star Taric. For the final augment, we get the option for stable evolution. This is not something I would take early in the match, and I only reluctantly take it here when nothing else is there. it is not a really strong augment. The health is slight, and it's not going to give you Kai'Sa. You're going to have to find her on your own, as we just did, and now she's in the match, and we are at the 6th Void, so we're summoning the Rift Herald. The Rift Herald is your real power spike for the Void build. In many ways, even more so than the jump from 6 to 8, the jump from 3 to 6. It has a greater impact on the match. Baron, they've nerfed a few times, so it doesn't hold up as well, but you can see how well it tanks Zed until Cho can come in and finish him off. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Baron is weak. Baron isn't, and if you have the option to get it, you should, but I would stick with an otherwise strong build even with Baron. Don't rely on Baron to be like a T-Hex. Item choices here, it's very hard to resist putting additional Rage Blades on Kai'Sa. It just is. The faster she attacks, the faster she is jumping all over the board. Gonna grab the Ionic Spark to go on Taric. That is for two purposes. Kai'Sa's doing magic damage, and so is Lux. Notice she is now in with a blue buff and Jeweled Gauntlet, and that essentially completes everything you need for the build with the 2-star Kai'Sa. You have lots of ways you can go for your 9th character who's going to come in stage 9. If you have an emblem, obviously you're looking for Bel'Veth. Here we could go with an additional challenger to speed up Kai'Sa, or bring in Bel'Veth because of the Void augment that we have. Absent that, I would probably look for a challenger to just make Kai'Sa attack faster, because she's likely to lead the damage charts. And then bring you into the top 4. And since I found a Bel'Veth, I ended up bringing her in since she is getting additional attack damage, health, etc. We get to 3-star the Rek'Sai. The Last Whisper is a great item for Bel'Veth or Rek'Sai, either one, but the Rabadon's Death Cap is just the icing on the cake for Lux. And we have a nearly full Ionian team that has brought in an Aphelios as their additional champion, but in reality, they are not going to be able to stand up to the amount of damage that Lux and Kai'Sa are able to put down. You can see as Kai'Sa dashes out of the way, she ends up getting away from Yasuo, and then Lux finishes off Aphelios. We're now in a 1v1 against an Ionian team, with a little bit of Challenger and a little bit of Shadow Isle thrown in, with that Gwen right in the middle that can do a ton of damage. I just don't think that they're necessarily strong enough to take on what this team is doing. I moved Bel'Veth into the back so that she gets the Unified Resistance buff. It's not huge, but it'll help a little bit. It'll also give our front line a little bit more time to get them fully engaged, while Kai'Sa and Lux just dole out the damage. Ultimately, though, they have enough power to take out our key champions, but Cho is left, and he does not want to go down, finishes it off, and it's a GG for everyone. If the game forces Void at you, take it. Void Sorcerer will take you far. Hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have an absolutely awesome day.